Sophia.
This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sophia Yvette.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of a home inspections company? Well, one may be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Future Lilly, with Futuristic Inspections. Future, it is great to have you on today. Now, we are so excited to learn all about you and your home inspections company. So start off and tell our listeners a little bit more about what you do.
Hello, Sophia. I am glad to be here. As you said, I am a real estate inspector. Now, when I say real estate, that means commercial and residential, not just residential. A lot of people think it's mostly residential or only residential, but it's both. And I
Love
have been an
that.
inspector for about 13 years now, and I just celebrated my 10 year of owning this business March 21st last month.
Wow. Well, congratulations. Now tell us a little bit more about
Thank
your
you.
background. How did you get into the real estate inspections company?
Oh, okay. Well, it's kind of like a full circle, I guess you could say. I became a realtor in 2000. Okay. And my manager of that company, he actually became like a father to me. We are super close to this day. He has three sons, and I'm his fourth son, he says. And so he was my manager for about 2 years, and then I ended up being a realtor for about six. The market went south, and I had to stop. I had to go get a real job. So I started working for Carlin County Association of Realtors, helping realtors navigate the software that we would use to put houses on the market and things of that nature. And then the market went south again 2009. And while I was working there, I met a guy who was the president of a real estate inspection company. And he said he thought I would make an amazing inspector based on the skills that I've showed him while working at CCAR. And I said, oh, for real? Well, maybe I'll consider that. Well, the market went south again in 2009, and I was one of three people to get laid off. And when I got laid off, my wife and I decided for me to become a stay-at-home father to my twin boys, who were 1 year old at that time. And in that time, I went to school to be a real estate inspector. And the day they went to school is the day that I went to go work for that guy, being an inspector. And he kept his promise. I got my license. He hired me, and I stayed with him for 2.5 years before I started my own company.
Wow. What a story. Now, how
Yeah.
did having that experience as a realtor before jumping into this really impact your business today?
I think it impacted quite well because me having the mindset of a realtor, but also having the mindset of an inspector, it gives my clients two ways to deal with this home buying process, not just one. They get two in one with me. And realtors get this kind of the same thing. They've probably never met an inspector who's actually done their job before, but I have. So I kind of understand what they're going through and what they're trying to achieve while still doing what I need to do for my clients. Because see, realtors, they're not my client, although they do help give us most of the business. The client is my client, but I help them from a real estate standpoint as a realtor, but also from an inspector standpoint.
I love that. Now, we're going to go ahead and switch gears here for a second, Future,
Okay.
and jump
Okay.
into the marketing side of things. Now, we know that marketing is the heart of every business. So you said realtors are not your clients. Let's get into who your ideal clients are and, how are you attracting them today?
Well, that's funny because I said realtors are not my client, but let's put it this way. They are unpaid client, a client that doesn't pay me. Let's put it that way. Okay. They are a client because they are the ones that help generate most of the business for inspectors. If I were to just market to potential buyers, that buyer is a one-off, most likely. And maybe they'll buy another property maybe 5, 10 years down the road with me. But as dealing with realtors, they see buyers every day and get buyers every day. So they're more likely to give me the business in which I'm looking for. So they do kind of act as a client. They just don't pay me. And I let them know that although you got me the business, my fiduciary duty is to the client. And they understand that because they also have a fiduciary duty to their client.
Understood. So, who is your dream client?
Just like I said, realtors. Realtors are my dream. A good realtor who is doing a lot of business every year is most likely my best client. But let's go to a buyer standpoint. My best client is anybody who is buying or selling real estate. That is the best client. I keep it just that simple.
Interesting. So, you don't specify by age, demographics, any of that, anybody of any age.
That's funny that you bring that up because I don't care who my client may be, woman, man, child, a child who can afford a house, or someone who's wealthy or someone who's not. If I'm inspecting a home that's worth $300,000, I'm going to treat them the same as a client who's buying a home for $5 million. I'm going to give them my best and I'm going to treat them exactly the same. They're getting the same report, different house, but same report and the same customer service.
Now, outside of working with other realtors, let's say, since you have that experience, how are
Mhm.
you getting the word out about your business?
Well, that's a great question. I belong to three different networking groups, so that's one way of getting my business out there. And then I also hired a marketing company, a media company, if you will. Um, I don't know if I can say their name or not, so I won't unless you allow me to. But I hired them about 4 or 5 months ago, and they've been a big help as well. And then I also do some marketing online myself with social media and also through Google, for instance. Google has a way, I guess Google Ads, I guess is what you can call it. I do something similar to that.
I love that. Now, go ahead and tell our listeners today the three things that makes your company stand out compared to other, real estate inspections companies and home inspections companies other than the background you have.
Okay. Well, one of the things that stand out the most is me. There's only one future Lilly in this entire world besides my son, who's 18 years old. But in this real estate world, it's just me. I'm very unique in a lot of ways. I'm unique in the way I dress, and I'm unique in the way I do my business. The second thing is my name is Future, so I try to use futuristic technology. Now, a lot of inspectors are using some of the same technology, but as soon as the technology comes out, I try to learn it and get familiar with it so I can give it to my clients for sure. And then
And
another thing that makes me the third thing I think is I treat customer service as number one. I still feel like the client is always right, like they used to say back in the old days. I still feel that way.
okay, and you said futuristic technology. Have you ever thought about having your own podcast for the business before?
I have. I've thought about it, and I don't know anything about podcasting, so it just kind of leaves my head when I think about it. But I've been thinking about it for years. Matter of fact, me and a realtor were supposed to get together to start a podcast together from both sides. Him being a realtor, me being an inspector. But he was a ex-professional football player, so he ended up doing a different type of podcast without me, more related to sports, but also real estate at the same time. So he moved ahead without me. So maybe he didn't think I was too serious about it, and maybe I wasn't at the time.
Well, Future, this has been a great conversation today. Before we wrap things up, where can our listeners
Mhm.
go to learn more about futuristic inspections and the services you provide?
Well, as I mentioned, I'm on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram under Futuristic Inspections. They can go to my website, which is also Futuristic Inspections, and then they can come to any of those networking groups. I don't know if I'm okay to say those networking groups, but they can come learn more about me if they wanted to.
Well, Future, I really appreciate you being on the show today. We wish you and your business the best moving forward.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. You have a blessed one.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpfrisco.com. That's gnpfrisco.com. Or call 469 221 9345.